anniversary today. That's right. On this day, 3 years
GM
ago,
and
08,
happy
Nouns
anniversary.
was born.
We
It's hard to
are
believe it's
going
been 3
live
years. In some ways,
on
it feels like
Tavern
much
right
less than
now
3 years.
for
And
the
in some ways, it
anniversary
feels like much
celebration. So
more
just
than
kind of
3
let you
years.
know what's
But
going on.
really glad
We'll
to
be
see all these familiar
playing
faces
what's
up
happening
here
in the
on the
tavern
stage and down in the crowd.
for
If you've ever been to one of our
we get
spaces, you
to
know that this is a
use
very
the
safe
nickname Noun of
place,
the
and
day.
we
This
welcome
is
anyone to
the
come up on
third
stage and
birthday
share
for Noun Style.
about anything that's going on in the
And we have some
Nouniverse.
fun
Today, we're going to be
things
definitely
happening.
reminiscing about
I'll be mostly
particularly the last
off-screen
year and some of the things that have
and
happened,
but just
good and bad,
showing what's
in
going
Nouns.
on.
And of course,
So
we're
I'll
going to
be
do our
jumping
regular
into the MMA
shenanigans as
chat
well, which is
in just a
where
second,
we watch the end of
as
the
well
Noun
as
Style
you may hear
auction.
me
That's
on
kind of what this
Tavern.
show was founded
You may or
around.
may
We've
not
been doing
up
it for
there.
almost 800 days in a row.
I'm
We're not
going
going to
to
stop
be
now. Now
going
in
back and forth and
12:06
sharing
currently has 6
screens
minutes on the
throughout
clock if you weren't
this
following. And
fun
if you'd open another
event
tab
that we're
in your browser and
celebrating
go to
Noun
nounoclock.live, you can
So
follow
hopefully we're
along
looking
with us
to
as
get
we watch
this
to see
noun
who
down
wins
here. That's what I
this
want. That little birthday
green
cake.
noggled
So
pineapple with a
every
current
day
bid of
one new noun
2.4
is
ETH from
born, and today will be the
Fong888.eth.
third, the
So
beginning
we'll
of
see
the
if that
fourth year,
person
I guess, the
ends
end
up
of the
taking
third
this
year
pineapple home. Hopefully,
of nouns
Fong888,
using
if you
one
are
noun
listening
a
and you do
day
win,
and
please
auctioning
don't
that off
settle the
every day goes
noun,
into a treasury,
because we
and
really
that's
want
used
to be able to play a little
do
game
all kinds
called
of cool
FOMO,
So
and
you'll hear a lot
hopefully
of people
FOMO
talking
something
about
nice
different things that
for
have
the
happened now this past year.
anniversary. I
We're
did
going to
put
go
a
and
ponder
listen in.
poll over
I'm
on
going to
Warpcast
quiet
this morning to ask
and go off
people
screen for a little
what we
bit,
should
and
try
then
to
you'll
get.
see the
A
screen switch
couple
when
options I
we
gave was
are
a
ready
cake, of
to
course, for the birthday.
choose a
I
noun of the
also
day,
mentioned
and
we can
I'll
maybe
come
get
back and
shrimp
explain what's
tempura because it
happening
hasn't
there.
been
So see you in a bit.
selected yet, and it's brand new. I gave the option of a wallet because you may not know, but leather is the preferred gift, of third anniversaries. And then what was the fourth one? I don't even remember. Oh yeah, the gnome zero. There was a bit of a distribution, but far and away the majority said that we'd like to get a cake, especially because there's 3 candles on the cake. So kind of just makes sense. So we're going to try to get a cake together if all the stars align. And you can help us do that by going to 9o'clock.live. And once the auction is over, which will happen in about 4 minutes and 43 seconds, barring any other further bids, then this screen will magically turn into a game called FOMO on the left side of your screen, and you will see a little oracle that shows you which noun would be born if we settled the previous day's auction right at this moment. And that's how we'll try to snipe a new awesome birthday noun. So we'll need your help for that. But we have 4 minutes and 20 seconds before that. So while we're waiting, I'll just say hello to everybody here on the stage. How's everybody doing today on this beautiful anniversary?
I ain't got no power.
Okay, well, I mean, there's different ways of celebrating, and that's one of them.
Apparently, the sky is celebrating. I'm in the middle of a hurricane.
You kind of sound like you are. I mean,
yeah, I bet.
You have
this
a really
is the
good
Ollie Williams weather update for sure.
Yeah, it go rain.
It's raining sideways.
I mean, you kind of do sound like you're in a hurricane with a really good mic. Basically, it's like blocking out all the bad sounds, but you also sound like you're in a tin can. So,
well, I certainly feel like it. But so I do not know how long I am going to even have cell reception, because apparently that's been going down. So I wanted to get in at the beginning and say happy anniversary. I'm sorry I might not be able to be here for very long.
It's on. We've got it logged, so you can now say that you were here for the anniversary.
Excellent. I also found out that apparently I might not have power for 3 days, so we'll see how this goes.
Wait, how do they plan these things out? I thought these things were usually surprise outages. I've never heard.
They are surprise because this has been going up like through Texas.
Oh, I see.
And where my dad lives, and apparently he had no power for like 2 days.
Well, we hope that doesn't happen to you. We're gonna.
Yeah, me too. Anyway,
is this an
happy anniversary?
When we blow out the candles on that cake today for nouns, we will definitely wish for power for Robot Fish Girl. Speaking of being here for the third anniversary, I want to say a thank you to Nounish Pro, who is currently helping us to using the GM Farcaster StreamYard to stream this over to our Twitter, over to our YouTube, as well as on Unlonely. So we are across all the platforms today. If you're listening on one of those other platforms, welcome. If you do want to come and actually sort of interact and chat with us on stage, you do have to come to Tavern, and you can find a link to the Tavern on Warpcast. I posted it this morning a few times, Toady Hawk, and you'll be able to find us and come join us. But either way, happy for everyone who's able to come and join us and celebrate this milestone. 2 minutes left on the clock, just checking in back on the auction for the pineapple. Still the top bid being 2.4 ETH. So we've got maybe 1 minute and 30 seconds left for Ben Body to tell us his favorite memory from the past year. No pressure.
Well, it
I
looks
would
like a
have
new
to
bid
say-
came in.
Yeah, another bid came in, so I've got a 5-minute
All
story
right, you got
incoming.
5. Ben Body probably just bid on the auction just to give himself 5 minutes to talk.
No, I got a quick and easy story. After playing around with nouns for basically 3 years now, I was able to get my first noun in January,
Let's
thanks
go.
to the reward the builders round, and then so that was awesome. I was gifted a noun, and then not so long ago, I won my first auction for a noun, which happens to be the cake with the 3 candles on it. So that's kind of cool. That was big highlights for my year, to be able to have my own 2 nouns. Like I was delegated nouns for quite some time and was able to submit props and stuff, but it's not quite the same as having your own nouns. And with only 1 per day, it's not like the typical collection. So it felt really good to get to that point.
Yeah, and tell us about, so the cake, is that actually noun 1111? I can't remember if you got that one or not.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. That's 1111.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
anyone who knows Ben Body knows that he's unnaturally obsessed with 1111 and ones in general. So ever since I've known you, Ben, you've been talking about getting noun 1111, which, when it was like early days and we were like sub 100 nouns, sounded a lot funnier at the time. It's like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
it's like we'll see you in a couple of years. Yeah, and that couple of years went quite
And then we
fast.
did.
Yeah.
I mean, you were smart enough to know that you probably wouldn't be able to swing noun 111. So I appreciate
Yeah.
it. But you're like, you know what, 1111, I could probably do.
Yeah, I was like, I've got enough time to save up to get a noun by then, and luckily prizes were converging with my amount of savings, and it just worked out well.
Well,
I just love that it's the cake for the 3rd anniversary year too.
That's true,
That's
and
that's
it
a
does
lot of
suit
fun.
you. And maybe with any luck, we're gonna have a twin for you by end of today's show.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I wonder how close we can get it if we can pull off another cake today.
His cake's pretty good though. I don't know. It's hard to beat Ben's cake. It's a pretty aesthetic cake.
Definitely a nice one with the yellow noggles as well.
And the blue, yeah, the blue shirt.
I think it's.
So by the way, when we count the 3rd anniversary, are we just doing by date or we do by number of nouns, like 365 3 times?
We're doing it by date.
The 8th of the
Yeah.
8th.
See, this is not even.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I
Oh,
challenge.
okay.
I
Never
challenge
mind.
that notion.
Never mind. 3-year anniversary is canceled by
It's
the draft.
canceled. Cancel
Thank you,
this.
everybody,
Push
for
it off a
coming.
few days.
We'll try to figure out. When
How
it
are we
is.
supposed to handle nouns or nouns, Brennan?
Yeah, we missed it. It would have happened already if it was the 365 with noun
Well,
to
you'd
noun.
have to 365 minus the 10 noun or nouns. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. All
You got
right.
to do some math. This is, nouns is about math. If you didn't know that.
I mean, I do support the idea of like nouns time. Like if we could figure out how to get on like a proper nounish calendar and
Actually, that would be a cool extension.
yeah,
That
like
would.
The
you
nouns
know,
calendar.
kind of like how like Ethiopia is still doing their own thing with their own calendar and their own.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've heard of
instead of
that.
the lunar calendar, we have the nouner calendar.
Yeah, I like it. Who's building?
All right,
that?
go ask
Realistically,
Andy.
we should just change world time to.
Yeah, that should be our mission.
Well, we have
change
to,
everything.
we have to start somewhere though. So we should
That's-
probably do it ourselves first before imposing it on the world. 1 minute left, by the way, on the clock for the auction. Remember to keep an eye on it out of your second tab. 52 seconds now. 2.45 ETH, the current top bid from 0x1ED4. Big fan of this guy. 4.74 ETH in the wallet, and looks like he's going to take it home unless we see another last second bid. in the next 20 seconds. So if we don't, then we are going to take a pause from celebrating the anniversary and go try to FOMO ourselves a nice cake for Noun's birthday. So again, go to nouno'clock.live in another tab or on your phone and help us out. Basically just voting on which nouns come up, and hopefully we can have the patience and fortitude to find ourselves a cake. And hopefully we also don't get rugged by whoever buys the noun and settles it, not knowing that we're all gathered here trying to grab a cake. So 6 seconds left on the clock. That means it's impossible on the Ethereum blockchain for another bid to come in. This is going to go for 2.45. Congratulations to the winner. And let's see if we can't find a birthday cake. Off to a good start with an 80s style cell phone.
Okay, I'm coming back on here to explain what's going on. We're looking for we're looking for some kind of cake, hopefully. And the way that we choose this is we have to upvote and downvote the head that you're seeing on the screen. So I'm going to pull that up so I can actually play. We don't like a toothbrush. We don't want a toothbrush. We want a cake. So we're going to try and find this cake. And then we're going to play something called Nomo Nouns, which is a way to, it's the way to sort of pick a noun that we didn't pick for a noun of the day. They get like another chance to do this. So you can go play along at nomo.wtf, so nomo.wtf, and you can play along and choose whether or not you like the next noun. And this happens every day. And then afterwards, we'll do Nomo Nouns. So you'll hear a little bit in the background the tavern going on, and they're talking about the different nouns that are coming through. And sort of most people are reliving their nounish year. Don't like that. Nice goat. A little something for Simone Biles maybe someday. All right, everybody, cake, big cake. By the way, for those who may not be familiar, what's happening in the background is you have a generative art piece that's being put together live as the blocks go. So it's one head, one background, one body, one glasses, and one accessory, all coming together to create the next nouns that you're seeing on the screen. That's a new one. Uh-oh. And then the way this happens is by consensus. So the way that the one that wins, it's by consensus, and it has to be consensus within the first 2 seconds. So you have to have enough votes in the first 2 seconds, up votes, in order for it to happen. Oh, no, unless somebody rugs us. And that's what happened. Somebody rugged us. Okay, so now we're going to play. Oh, that is just painful. That's really painful because that one was ugly as sin. Now we're going to play Nomo Nouns, and you do have to be connected at nomo.wtf in order to play, but you can choose which noun you want to say for today. There was a cool goat. I don't see, where the heck did that goat go? I guess it wasn't during FOMO. I think it was too early or something. But there was a really cool goat, and I think I might go for this beluga. Yeah, no, that's it. So I think I'm going to go for this beluga. It's kind of cute. I tend to like belugas. Actually, I'm going to go for the hodl vent. I call this the hodl vent because it looks like it says hodl on it. So we're gonna play. We're playing, and you just choose your character. You decide what you like, and hit it. Spam click it as fast as you can to try and make yours win. But this is so sad. Is that Pole Man? It was not that cute. I gotta admit, it was not that cute. Oh, Bitcoin Doom is kind of cute, just for this week, actually. Bitcoin Doom is interesting, but I also like Huddlevent. Huddlevent's pretty cute. But I don't know. I'm thinking I'm switching to Bitcoin Doom. Bitcoin Doom feels like the right way to go. Oh, the calendar. I missed the calendar. Never mind. I'm going back to the calendar. I didn't even realize that was a calendar. Calendar makes more sense for today. Hopefully everyone's picking the calendar since we can't get a cake. But let's grab this calendar. Let's grab this calendar. So now we're down to 2. We've got a beluga and a calendar. And now we're going to fight. And whichever one wins will be the Nomo of the day. And sit next to this noun, this very ugly pump noun, which was a big mistake. So thank you, person who decided to rug us. We love you so much. Okay, calendar wins. And then you can actually mint this calendar for the next 24 hours. And you'll see it in just a moment, sitting next to. And I'm going to go pick up this no moment because I want to celebrate the day. It'll be almost like a co-op celebrating this 3rd anniversary of Nouns. And then we're going to head back to the Tavern.
Creators on chain. And also, if you mint one, you enter yourself into a draw for a collective noun, a yellow collective noun.
And I'm going
I can announce that we actually will be giving away a yellow collective noun on today's show. Every 60 days or so, we do a draw from the previous 60 days Nomo mints, and that will include today's Nomo. So you've got basically until the end of the show. Nomo, if you want to be entered into the draw, we are going to be giving away one yellow collective noun from our prize vault to one minter of today's Nomo. So there you go. And that concludes our shenanigans for the day. And we can resume our reminiscing over 3 years of Nouns, and particularly over the past year of Nouns. So I see David Horvath has joined us here up on stage. Hello, David. Welcome. Not sure if he's in a place where he can talk, but wanted to call out. If you are, David, definitely say hello. In the meantime, who else wants to give us a little bit of reminiscing over the past year? Your favorite thing that's happened in the past year? The Bower, I know you've been hard at work on a few things. Can you share anything that stands out from you from the past year of Nouns? Oh, Bower, are you there? Can anyone else hear him?
I cannot.
Okay. Bauer, maybe try refreshing your screen, and then we'll see if we can hear you, because if we couldn't hear you before, but hopefully we'll get him back, and we'll be able to ask him. Then let's go to Willy Wonka. We've got Willy Wonka, the skull, over here on the stage as well, and I'm sure Willy has some stuff to share about his Nounish journey this year.
GM friends, hope you all have the best day ever. I'll tell you a fun story. I don't know if all of you guys know this, but I didn't join Nouns until February of this year, and it was right when I went part-time. So I've been working at Shapeshift for over 6 years. I've been on the foundation side for 3 years, and the whole purpose of the foundation was to be like a temporary stepping stone towards sufficient decentralization, because Shapeshift used to be a centralized org. So initially, when Shapeshift started transitioning to a DAO, the foundation was established to take over all the legacy centralized infrastructure and maintain it, while also supporting the community and building decentralized alternatives. And eventually the community did that, and we migrated all the users from the old legacy centralized stuff to the open source new app that was architected for decentralization, sunset all the old stuff. Long story short, the community is basically doing everything now. So it's me and one other guy on the foundation, and we're both part-time over there since January. So I've been following Nouns. I'm a big fan of DAOs, of course. and finally had some free time and dove in February. But I almost joined Nouns a year before. So at ETH 2023, there was a giveaway. I don't know if y'all saw this, but there was like a scavenger hunt that I won't say the name of the person that did it, but some of y'all might know. So there was a scavenger hunt, and at the time, Nouns were like 55 ETH. So I'm at ETH. I'm like, I got to win this Noun. This is an incredible opportunity. Whatever it takes, we're gonna win that Noun. So we dedicated like, you know, a portion of our ETH to trying to find all the clues for this scavenger hunt. The person who was running it was putting clues out like every day, a few clues, and we found every single clue. And we also had formed a team. They were putting out hints that were like, look, you can't do this alone. You got to have a team. They were alluding to like the Horcruxes in Harry Potter and how you can't do it on your own. So put together a whole team of 6 friends. We had a multi-sig ready to go. And on the last day, there was one final clue, and the competition got canceled. The giveaway got canceled because apparently there weren't enough people competing, which was devastating. So it took me a full year later to finally be able to join Nouns. But I almost joined, back at ETH 2023, and it slipped through my fingers.
That's a crazy story. I don't even remember that Noun being given away, or I can't think of who it was that was giving it away either.
Yeah, I don't remember that either. That's pretty interesting. Spill the tea.
All right, I guess I think it's fair for us to spill the tea. It was definitely out in public. It was Rick.eth, and it was a sweet dino Noun that he was giving away.
I kind of do remember that now, but I had forgotten.
There was so much going on. Everyone was
canceled it at the end.
Yeah, exactly. The last day, after we had found 5 of 6 clues, and the last clue hadn't been revealed yet. Yeah,
that's the biggest Nouns rug I've heard of.
Wait. We can't talk about rugs without talking about moonbeams, dude.
Moonbeams doesn't really qualify as
moonbeams. Jesus, I just want to try them.
For those who are,
what's going on with those beans? Are those beans still coming?
What's up with the beans, dude? It's 3 years.
All right, for those who might be new to Nouns, I am seeing some new faces for sure in the crowd. So if you're fairly new to Nouns, Moonbeams is a deep cut. It's kind of like maybe one of the funniest times that Nouns was rugged as a DAO. Permissionless funding is always a double-edged sword. You get some people coming that you might never attract to a project doing some crazy, amazing things like making a movie or making an esports team and all these things. And sometimes you also just get people who promise to make beans and never do. And so Moonbeams became a bit of a meme unto itself. Was that in the first year of Nouns, or was that in year 2? All kind of blurred.
I just pinned it up top.
First year.
Oh, I figured it out. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, that was definitely an early prop.
Yeah, first year.
So this is a British company that already made beans. So you would think it would not be that difficult to just Nouns beans. So Josh, you're a ghost. I don't see you on stage, but I do hear you. So Tavern sometimes does this when there's a lot of people on.
Yeah, we like to ghost people.
That's the way I like it.
But yeah, please refresh because it is weird to not see you, but also to hear you. So if you don't want to be a ghost anymore, refresh and rejoin, and we should be able to hear you at that point. But yeah, so Moonbeams is just kind of a funny rug that happened. All you can do is laugh when these types of things happen. But they were supposed to make a line of like Nounish branded baked beans in a can, and it just never came to be. And the funniest thing about it is that they kept giving updates about how long it was taking and why it was taking this long, and kicking the bean can down the road, as it were. But yeah. And
also like a hell yes proposal, as in it was 84 and 4 against. So it was one of those like,
well, it did
for the Moonbeams.
It ticked the box of like absurdity, I think, and it was also one of the first proposals to ever suggest to give like a revenue share back to Noun. There was some like desire to maybe try that out and see what that would look like, but alas, the beans never came to be. Maybe one day they'll blow us out of the water. Maybe one day, 5 years down the road, they'll be like, "Hey, Moonbeams."
I'm still holding out.
They'll be the most. They'll like overtake like all the other bean companies. They'll be like the most profitable bean company of all time, and we'll all be feeling really great about it.
They'll be like Steve Jobs. They'll be like, "We really had to do a lot of R&D to make a Nounish bean that would really,
What's the dog doing?"
But my favorite part of the Moonbeam story is when there was some sort of a shitstorm on Twitter as is often the case on Twitter. And people were sort of dunking on Nouns because of Moonbeans. And Vape Ape, one of the Nounders, commented and was basically like, this was worth the investment many times over just to live rent-free in so many people's heads. And I just thought that was, that was a pretty good statement. Anyways. All right. So Willie, is that your favorite story from the past year, or did you want to say a word or two too about what you've been building?
Yeah, we'll give a shout out to Brennan, because I mean, it was pretty cool to join Nouns and then a few months later get a grant to become a Nouns builder and build something that we're super excited about, and to have like the support of the awesome Nouns community is a pretty awesome story that I'll remember for the rest of my life. I'll tell my grandkids one day. But yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about the story about where the concept from Noun Space came. We were at an ATX DAO party for South by Southwest, and I was hanging out with Brennan. We were talking about the Farcaster competition prop from Nouns, the RFP for Nounish Farcaster clients. And literally the idea for Noun Space basically started as a joke. It was like, oh, like, wouldn't it be funny if someone built like MySpace on top of Farcaster? And I was literally joking. And Brennan's like, dude, you have to do this. That would be so cool. And he told the story. I don't know if y'all know this, but Brennan got into development from being a teenager on MySpace and customizing profiles for him and his friends, which is a pretty common story for people our age who grew up during that funky time. So that was pretty awesome. And then like the next day or maybe 2 days later, I posted a thread in Nouns that was also kind of half joking and just like putting the idea out there and saying, would people use it? And there was a lot of support. So started working on the prop. And then like, as we started working on the prop, it turned from a joke into like, oh my gosh, this is the coolest app I can imagine. Someone's got to build this. This needs to exist. So I will do a quick plug. There's a lot of great Nounners on here. Y'all all have the ability to mint free Nogs, which are right now, it's early access token NFT that you need to get in to customize your own space. We are about to rip down that token gate. We're very excited to rip it down. But you still want those Nogs because it'll give you free premium access. And like for the first feature that will only be available to Nogs holders at first is tabs, which is a pretty powerful feature that lets you add like new pages, which is good because there are already so many fidgets that you need more space to fit all the awesome fidgets. So yeah,
Willie,
check out Noun Space. Go ahead.
To be clear, Nogs are different than like $ Nogs, right?
Correct. Yes. So I'm talking about the Nogs NFT. It's lowercase n, capital OG, lowercase f, stands for Noun Space OGs. So yeah, separate than the $ Nogs, we love them. If you do have $ Nogs, you can also enter the raffle to win some Nogs NFTs.
I love it. Hey dog, we heard you like Nogs, so we said the gods some Nogs, Nogs for your Nog.
This is the beauty of CC0. So the one request I have is for people to go customize their space and then let me know. We just added an explore page. The top category on top is Nouns. So we need more cool Nounish communities and projects to customize their space so we can feature y'all. Because right now I think it's just Noun Space Tom and Nars in the Nouns category. And Nars, so they're kind of lonely up there. So customize your space and let us know, and then we'll add you to the explore page.
Is login still wallet based, or can we do Farcaster accounts?
So right now, because we still have that token gate, the first step is you connect your wallet, and then it'll prompt you to connect Farcaster. But we're about to get rid of that, so it'll just be signing in with Farcaster.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
I love it. And by the way, Nogs, the NFTs, I believe were like designed or at least curated by Mr. Benjamin Latsko. Is that not the case?
Hello there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the Nogs, they're 11 different hand-drawn frames, and Benjamin drew each of those, and they're so beautiful. And then it was basically a collaboration with Benjamin, with our team member Cam, and then ChatGPT wrote the code to basically take these beautiful hand-drawn frames that Benjamin created and to mask them over. We had 1,011 different pieces of CC0 artwork and photography, mostly Nounish stuff, also some photographs, and we have some like Salvador Dali and Monet artwork that's like in the public domain, and they turned out so good. So yeah, these Nogs look awesome. You might even want a couple pairs so that you can match your different outfits and your different swag from butter.wtf.
Can we give away some Nogs today to some people who are here?
Yes, I would love to give away some Nogs to attendees.
All right. How many? And we'll do a draw a little later.
Three Nogs.
All right, 3 Nogs up for grabs. We're just gonna keep putting people on the spot until they get it. So this is like highway robbery, but on Tavern, basically. It's like if you come up on stage, you risk that we might empty your bags and give them away to people who are here.
When we add tipping, we can then just force them.
Oh,
Nice. Force them to give them out.
I love it. So Benjamin is here. That's kind of why I brought that up. I saw him here, and I wanted to go to Benjamin if I'm not putting him on the spot, because it's been awesome to see Benjamin over the past year go from like super lurker to super builder, and he's been working on a lot of different things in the Nouniverse, all of them amazing. Ben, you want to talk about your year in Nouns?
My year in Nouns? Yes. I joined the community probably in the beginning of 2022, so roughly 2.5 years ago. Went through Shark DAO, did a lot of work there with the guys, then graduated to Nounsel. It was a big graduation back then to join Nounsel, and ever since I've been trying to find a project or stuff that I can do. I'm a service provider at heart. That's what I do every day. So becoming the person who's actually in the driving seat and doing stuff, it has been a process in itself, and also just rethinking about how we do stuff. My background is in brand and marketing, and so what I started doing, or my first proper engagement, was with East Denver this year, and then we looked into other topics too, and I started Butter.wtf. It's my little homage to Nouns for us, to celebrate the best of the artwork, or the stuff that I feel like carries a lot of Nounish cultural value and weight, and contextualize it a lot of the last 3 years. So yeah, I'm using a lot of the artwork that is already out there to curate just very small capsules or small drops. Everything is on print on demand, so it's something nice, it's something cute, small for us. And actually today I launched a new drop with an original artwork that is made by Seeks. Everyone should, I guess everyone knows Seeks. His artwork was one of the first that was up on Times Square, I believe, in NFT NYC in 2022.
I think he came into Nouns via Nars and Gami, I believe.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, and so that's Butter. And now I'm really excited about what's coming up in October, Nounstown LA. We're now in the process of building out the comms, building out the website and stuff. So you can see that coming around very, very soon. And a couple of partners who are chiming in. I'm excited for us to all to come together in October to celebrate Nouns and really lean inwards and connect and have fun, make memories, so that we can that's going to catapult us into an exhilarating year 4, year 5, and the years to come.
I love that. What made you want to take on the pretty huge responsibility of planning the very first Nouns conference?
It's my love for Nouns. Literally, it's also the reason why I started Butter is because I truly believe doing more for ourselves, and yes, also focusing on onboarding and new people is part of that, but really making stuff for us that we can cherish, that we're proud of sharing to our friends, that we're excited to talk about at the dinner table. Yeah, that's something I feel like that it's sort of a gap that comes. I'm filling a gap that comes natural to me, and that I'm excited to work on. And Nounstown LA is something that I feel really proud, because it's not about me. It's about what we are doing and what everyone is bringing and activating. So Nounstown LA is a lot less about creating something that is not part of what you already know. It's about doing what we're already doing, but in a bespoke way, in a special way where everyone can celebrate it and make memories together. That's what brand building is all about. Creating a story that we can share, creating stories, individual stories that are fun to tell further, and lean inward. That's probably the most important. Lean inward so that people from outside want to lean inward too.
I really love that. You know, Prof, Nanish Prof here, and Joshua Fisher and I were just at base camp in FWB outside LA this past week, and we were talking about the fact that like all of these conferences seem to always have like a mini Nouns conference within them because there's just so many passionate Nounish people who are builders in other ecosystems that kind of overlap as well. And so, you know, whether it be ETH Denver or Consensus, or in this case Basecamp and FWB, there's always like this core group of Nouns, and we kind of gravitate to each other and have these little mini Nouns conferences. So I think it's going to be really cool to see, you know, what happens when Nouns has their own conference, you know, like this sort of macro conference of Nounishness. And I'm excited to see what happens.
Yep, I hope everyone can make it.
One thing for sure is that we're gonna have fun.
Yeah, that's guaranteed.
Rule number one, Benjamin, I just bought some shorts and a matching mug on Butter. Can't wait to rock them. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have to also give a testament to Butter Clothing. I've bought several pieces from there, and they are on my regular rotation. So
Yeah, Tody was rocking the Butter Nouns cap all weekend.
Sick.
Yep, I was repping it.
And it looked good.
I got my hands on a Noun coffee cap though at one point, so I did have to swap that out because that was pretty sick.
Oh yeah.
By the way,
a bunch of T-shirts too.
Whoa! A2 Pro. I can't believe that I'm being thrown into this. Well, Prof, since you're piping up, it sounds like you wanted to talk, so we'll put you on the spot and ask you about the past year of Nouns. What's it been like for you? And yeah, tell us some memories. Yep. Let's go. Amazing. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it.
Hello there.
You did. Yeah, yellow dove in head first just to make sure the water was warm and make sure that we didn't die from guinea pigs. By the way, Noun 40 posted about this yesterday that the penguin, the Nounish penguin that he has, made its way onto the cover of Ethereum Investors magazine. Anyway, an industry magazine. He loves. Awesome. Mhm. That's true. When I was looking back, congrats. You have 2 nouns. No, I was just gonna say, you mentioned that we moved to Warpcast en masse, and I was looking through Maddie's newsletter. Shout out Maddie for being our archiver in chief and making sure that we never forget things that happen in nouns. It's really awesome that you do that newsletter. I was reading through over the past year things that have happened, and one of the things I noticed was a post from DWR from earlier last year talking about how nouns was the fastest growing channel on Warpcast at that time. So pretty cool. Mhm. Hey, shout out.
Yes.
I, I appreciate the tee up there, and I will take the hit. We do have Seneca up here on stage, so maybe Seneca wants to say a word or two about the third year in Nouns as one of the founders of the project and also a co-founder of Rounds, which Prof was just talking about, which launched over this past year. Seneca, are you here with us?
Yes, I think I am. Can you guys hear me? I've been trying for a bit now, but
You're
ran
good.
into some issues.
We can hear you. How does it feel to see your baby turn 3?
Man, it feels like it just turned 30. It feels surreal. I've said this many times before. The sort of default outcome for these things when it involves a lot of humans is implosion and yeah, just like it's ultimate death. Um, and the fact that we're still kicking. I mean, if there's 100+ people watching, I think that's an enormous win. But more than the quantity of people, it's the quality of people, right? I feel like one thing I definitely learned, I think might have been a bit of a mistake early on, was not emphasizing as much on sort of real life connections. Um, this year, I've been able to meet a lot of you, and yeah, it just makes the feeling that one has for nouns go 100x. So yeah, I mean, to answer your question, it feels surreal. The fact that it's still alive 3 years in and kicking is pretty amazing, and yeah, just very grateful and thankful for being able to go on this adventure with everyone here.
Amazing. Well, we're glad that you brought Nouns into existence because obviously it's become an obsession for many of us here. So thank you, thank you for that. And talk to us about Rounds. Yeah, I would love to hear sort of looking back on this past year where you sort of made the pivot from prop host to Rounds and sort of why that happened and what you're bullish about for the coming year.
Yeah. So as a lot of you guys know, Prop House started early 2022, and we just had too much money in the treasury and didn't know how to get it in the hands of builders. And Prop House came to be just as a solution to make that process easier. But over the 2 years that we developed that product, even though it feels like we did incredibly well, especially given it was a big bear for the past 2 years, or 2+ years. There were some sort of obvious issues that only make sense in hindsight. One of them is that there were no on-chain communities back then, right? Like you could point to NFT communities, but those kind of fizzled out because they didn't have the sort of the layer twos, the modalities that, for example, Farcaster enables, all these things. There really weren't a growing number of on-chain communities back then. So that was number one issue. Second one is voting is just too much friction. Getting people on the internet to come and review things is just too much. It was never going to grow. 3, future looking props take 100x more effort than retro sort of activity. And so why rounds came to be is, 1, all the things I mentioned, but 2, base was a thing then, right? When we started Prop House or developing the protocol, base did not exist. 2, as soon as I saw channels, I had this sort of antenna for it, where I knew that if these things were to pick up, they were going to be the real sort of DAOs, right? Or lightweight DAOs, if you want to call it that. And then Farcaster frames happened, and it just something clicked. I don't know what it was. I guess just the culmination of all these problems within Prop House and the new solutions being brought forward. And yeah, as soon as Farcaster frames happened, I remember that Friday I was telling Solly, hey, we just, fuck everything. We have to drop everything and focus on this thing. Saturday passed, Sunday passed, and by Sunday I had full conviction that we just have to move here. And I think it was maybe a week after that we had a full-on MVP on Farcaster. And yeah, we've done the numbers that we did on Prop House over 2.5 years in like 3 months. So clearly something's working, and yeah, we're just here to kind of continue exploring.
That's
love
awesome.
it.
Why do you think rounds hit so well? Like, why do you think so many other communities just gravitated to it immediately, whether they knew about Nouns previously or not?
Yeah, to me, it's pretty obvious that it's simply the UX, right? Like I posted this somewhere some time ago, but over 2 years or 2+ years, I tried improving UX time and time again, and thinking that if I just made the UX better for voting, for proposing, it would solve things. But in reality, no amount of improvement would be enough. It would always be too much. And what I mean by that is voting is always too much, right? And so why I think it just clicks, it's because we use the social graph to allocate the resources. So you're not voting, you're not thinking about voting. There is no, at least conceptually, you're not voting. But we use the sort of social signals of likes, recasts, replies, follows, etc., to allocate those resources. So I think the main thing is that the UX disappeared, right? You're not really going to review props. You're just hanging out where you hang out, and you're liking things as you naturally would. And then from that, you're able to, reward people, which is pretty amazing. So I guess long-winded answer, but it's simply that UX kind of disappeared, and that enables people to kind of do it, right? Otherwise, it's just too much of a burden.
Awesome. Well, I know you famously don't like to be embarrassed by adulation, but I do want to say that I personally, and I'm sure everyone up here, appreciates that you're still here grinding and building on Nouns 3 years later. I think you could have very easily sailed into the sunset or done something else, but it's inspirational to all of us. I think that you're here still building this thing 3 years later.
I mean, I appreciate the kind words, but really, I guess it's cliche, but it's true that we're building. We're all, a lot of you guys have been here for like 3 years too. So yeah, it's definitely a team thing. We're all like, without everybody here, none of this would be possible. So I appreciate it, but yeah, I'm one of many.
Let's put you on the spot one last time and ask you what you're looking forward to in year 4 of Nouns. Is there anything you'd like to see happen from the community that you've been maybe waiting for or watching for over the past 3 years that you think could be just around the corner?
Yeah, I think so. Number one is Noun Fest. I'm incredibly excited for that. I think Benjamin is underpriced. We should all long Benjamin for taking this on. This stuff it's definitely you know how everybody's like devs do something. Well, he not only did something, he just like blew it out of the park. That along with, of course, the animation as well, the animation festival. So what I'd like to see more of, not only more of, like 100x more of, is Nouns in real life stuff. So people meeting up in their own cities and you know, just hanging out and sort of sharing the culture. I'd like to see sort of our underlying infra get more get simpler, right? Part of my driving force behind Rounds is to make Nouns not be this sort of this thing that depends entirely on proposing and receiving the grants, right? Like that mechanic is sure, it's good in a lot of ways, right? Like we fund big things, but I would like it not to be the main thing. I would like Nouns to become sort of automatic distribution of rewards for doing cool stuff, but you're not thinking about, oh, the grant and who received the grant, and you know, just be more communal in that sense. More of a hangout spot as opposed to, you know, the government who gives me a grant sort of thing.
You're gonna have rounds for everything, like show me your coffee round, and
I'm trying. I'm trying. There's like 9 ongoing rounds, I think, for Nouns currently, and I could just see that happen, right? Like, we're all sort of addicted. We're all addicted to social media, whether it be Instagram, Twitter, Farcaster, etc. I think there's a world where, you know, your like nation, your I don't know how to say this, but more and more it feels like a lot of people belong to the internet as opposed to maybe their, you know, their nation state or whatever it is. I definitely feel like I came up on the internet, right? Like I grew up on the internet, and so I do think there's a world where we merge those two ideas together, where Nouns is sort of where you're born and hang out and do things in, and it's less of this, like, I don't know, this overarching thing where you ask the grant and then you receive it, but rather a hangout spot everywhere.
You can just say a cult. That's fine. So, yeah.
Yeah. So with the thing about rounds is that it's very time consuming to lead any particular round. So I currently do everything with animators and draws and the main Nouns channel. Toady is very gracefully leading Nouns Retro. Now Wiz is leading Dev. What I think Nouns in real life could be, it's sort of a channel where, yeah, sure, you get rewarded for running meetups or whatever, but really what these channels aim to be are just hangout spots where, you know, you come in and you contribute, whether it be illustrations or animations or dev work or just general yapping, as we call it now on Nouns. And so what that looks like, to your point, Nanish Prof, is channels where you sort of post that you're doing this activity and people kind of hang out there because they're interested in, you know, there was a meetup in New York, there was a meetup in Miami, hey, these guys met up and they got rewarded to, you know, continue to do that activity. Crow has talked about hosting Nouns dinners, which is an interesting one. it's you get rewarded for literally hosting a dinner, whether it be at a restaurant or your home. And so, yeah, I'm looking for people to lead these things. I just need, I guess, yeah, I don't have the bandwidth to take on more channels, which is why I'm kind of leaning into Toady, Wiz, and anybody else that wants to lead anything really. Oh, there's also PIP. Oh, really? Interesting. Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna be in so much. You're gonna be
I
when your mom sees that, Prof. You're gonna be in so much trouble.
I regret not getting it for sure.
Someone's going ham on the sound effects. I don't know, but yeah, I definitely think you're gonna get grounded, Prof. But it was worth it. I hope. Awesome. So what we're taking away from what Seneca's saying is long Benjamin Latsko's Moxie fan token. Is that the financial advice? Awesome. Thank you for coming up, Seneca, and sharing a little bit about the past year, the past 3 years, and nouns. Always a pleasure. I do want to take a quick shift of gears here to check on the yellow auction. We got so excited with everything happening with the nouns auction, the anniversary, that we forgot to settle today's auction over on yellowcollective.xyz. So I just want to take a pause and go do that with you guys. If you want to go in.
Okay, when I switch screens, you can no longer hear the tavern. Oops. And so I want to make sure that you know what's happening here. So we're settling the auction for yellow, and it looks like it's a chicken. So we've got a chicken on a weird tablecloth kind of body. I am going to switch back over to the tavern now, so we can listen to them talking about this. But this is Yellow Collective, which is the Noun Squares, Nounish Dow. So you can go bid on this chicken if you would like to.
And launching yellow this year. Obviously, this time last year there was no yellow. It existed as a tiny seedling of ideas in our heads. We've launched. It's been a kind of a crazy year. Talk to us about yellow.
Yeah, well, as part of the Noun Square, we were running a lot of art contests and trying to empower artists and figure out the best way to kind of help distribute funds to artists and support them any way we could, and found that it might be interesting to spin up a club using the DAO suite from Nouns Builder. And once the base layer 2 option was available where gas would be super cheap, we thought, let's give this a whirl and see what happens, and started by creating a whole lot of traits that were all community submitted. And I think that was kind of a good testament to how we're going to empower the community of artists. And by doing so, I think it has attracted a really it's an amazing group of people that are all either artists themselves or art collectors. And yeah, it's been really cool, because then you're building a treasury that's purely focused on spending on art. And I think having that as the sole focus and less focus on the governance aspects, but just using the infrastructure, has been a really interesting experiment. So it's something that I've been, I just think it was a fun thing to do, and it's kind of proving that way. We're at collective noun 265, and I don't know how many people we've got in the Warpcast chat, but we've been pushing the limits of the group chats on Warpcast pretty much the whole time they've been available.
130 people in a group chat, and for clarity, since we founded Yellow in January, it was very intentionally built as a Farcaster native club. So we don't have a Discord for it. We don't really use the Twitter for it. It's really just all in the Yellow channel and in the Yellow Cabal, a group chat for anyone who's a member of Yellow. And I think we have about 130 people in that chat and only about 150 token holders total. So I have challenged to see if anyone can refute this, but I think this is probably the most members of any on-chain club that are all in one place on one platform on Warpcast. So pretty cool that we've been able to grow it organically, and so sort of in line with the base ecosystem and the Farcaster ecosystem. Also, I was just running some numbers yesterday, Ben, and on sort of the success of Yellow and how much we've been able to raise for artists. We just recently surpassed from the auction 40th, and we actually haven't touched that at all because we've been able to make a lot of revenue via minting collaborations with artists and other artists in our sphere, in our ecosystem. So we've totaled, I think, over 70 ETH in revenue this year from Yellow. And almost half of that has already been spent this year on, and all of it on art contests for artists and collaborations with artists. So it's been really cool to be able to sort of spin something out that's been a priority for the Noun Square since day one, more than 2 years ago, and make it more than self-sufficient so that we don't need to rely on Nouns DAO to be able to better the lives of artists and creators around the world. So yeah, that's Yellow Collective, and it's been a good year, and hopefully many more years to come for Yellow. Anything else anyone else wanted to share about Yellow before I go over to, I wanted to talk to, oh, Pat's still here. I think we did lose Peter Pandam. I wanted to talk to him about esports, but Pat's still here. We can go to him in a minute, but anyone have a final word or anything to say about Yellow before we shift gears again?
Well, we should all keep an eye out on the traits because there is a big wave of new traits coming.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Almost ready.
That's right. We have 50 new traits that are going to be actually more than 50 because we've got a few collaborations. So 55, I think, total new traits plus a bunch of accessories that are undergoing curation by the team and will be added to the protocol very soon in the coming weeks. So we're going to see some fresh heads and fresh accessories coming to Yellow. Keep an eye on yellowcollective.xyz or the Yellow channel on Warpcast to keep up to date on all that. Pat, sure. Well, thank you to Nouns Builder for making it just a couple clicks to be able to launch a DAO on base. Definitely made it easier for us. So. All right, Pat, if you're there, I would love to pick your brain a little bit on what's been going on at Nouns Esports because you guys have had a crazy, awesome year as well. And if you're not, maybe Brennan can step in to sort of bring us up to date on esports if you're there, Brennan. Oh, there's Pat.
Hey,
what's
can you guys
up?
hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
esports has been going really well. I think the goals, I joined back in January of this year, and funny enough, Yellow was actually the first NFT that I ever won on an auction. So it was my entryway into base. Really appreciative of you, specifically Tody, actually helping me onboard into the Nouns community back in January, along with people like Saprio, Brennan, and the esports org. But esports this year has been a really interesting time. with esports, it's been very hard to get people on chain. And I think that just being part of the Nouns community and kind of watching how we've been building technologies on base, it influenced a lot of what kind of became of Nexus and what we now call rounds, where you've seen week over week growth on the platform that we launched back in June to kind of do our own proposals to help with providing more opportunities inside of esports, whether that be sponsoring players to go to events, having more organizers actually creating content under the Nouns banner, and most recently actually being able to bring in a couple of creators who can help influence just the overall growth of our views for Nouns content or Nouns esports content. And it's really thanks to the Nouns community that kind of kept giving us a little guiding light as we watched how Rounds was forming on Warpcast, as we kind of saw the transition of shift from Twitter over to Warpcast. A lot of that has actually influenced how we build our technology, and we're finally seeing a pretty good retention of users. And it's been awesome to kind of see this growth over the past 7 months. We have picked up a few new rosters. Nouns FE got funded full time. I think actually one of the first female rosters in Counter-Strike to get a full time opportunity to do this for a year. And kind of seeing the Dota team make TI again, it's really, really difficult to make a world championship. And we are one of the teams that has like kind of the middle level of funding, competing with brands like Shopify, who are putting in $2 million on their roster, so larger than our entire year's budget. And yeah, I think that I don't know if Sass and Peter are still here, but Sass and Peter have been kind of working tirelessly this entire year, along with Sam and the rest of our team, to make it all happen. So just really proud of where we've come over the past half year.
I think that's a really nice bookend, actually, because when I was looking back through Maddie's newsletter to see what happened over the past year, one of the very first things that happened in sort of season 3 of Nouns was the TI tournament, your appearance in TI last year. In Seattle, and this year you've qualified again, and I think you'll be going in the coming month, if I'm not mistaken, to Copenhagen to compete again in the international, which is pretty crazy and pretty awesome.
Yeah, we actually have a pretty awesome product that we're releasing. We're in the midst of designing a tinned herring that is actually Nounish, just like an ode back to Denmark and Copenhagen. So it's our first food product we've ever created, and I'm pretty excited to be able to kind of reveal that over the next few weeks.
It's gonna make up for the moon beans.
I was going to say moon herrings. Moon herrings.
This is it. This is fucking it.
Did you have to consult with Krell for taste testing?
I don't think very many of us have even had very much tinned fish to begin with, and so it's been like it's an American experience of trying to create European tinned fish. So
this duck eats a lot of tinned fish, by the way. Just letting you know.
Okay, all right. Well, you got your resident
bar quality.
And I'm sure.
By the way, I wanted to also share anecdotally, because I play a lot of games. Going into matches and being like in like the Nouns guild, people actually knowing what Nouns is so, like 2 years ago, no one knew anything. Year ago, they're like, oh wait, I think I've heard of that, and now I get in, and people are like really pumped. So it's really cool to like naturally just see the progression of actually just playing the game and having people comment on it in these multiplayer games. So
I think now esports has done a better job than any other org in terms of like forcing people to transcend crypto in a way. Like, you know, everyone kind of knows here, I'm sure, how anti-crypto the sentiment can be in the gaming industry, and just the fact that Nouns Esports has been able to not only navigate that, but also kind of turn it on its head so that people see Nouns as like a positive light in the industry, despite being, you know, having crypto roots technically, is really cool. You mentioned Nouns FE, Pat. I think we do have Jessica's here, so I don't know if Jess, if you're there, if you want to say a couple words about your year in Nouns, because I think this time last year, you probably didn't even know about Nouns. Correct me if I'm wrong, but now you're playing for a Nouns-sponsored esports team. Jess, are you there?
Right now.
They actually just qualified for an ESL league 2 days ago. So if she's here, I'd love for her to speak a little bit.
Oh, really cool. Well, if she does hear this, paging Jessica, so we'd love to hear about your year in Nouns, but maybe she's AFK, or maybe she's playing right now, like like Ben said. I saw Yeah, for sure. And nouns.gg, which Pat mentioned, is pretty awesome as well. Sam from their team has basically taken Prop House, which was sunset recently, in favor of spending time on rounds, which Seneca talked about with us over the past hour, and turning it into sort of a purpose-built esports tool. And from what I've seen, like the players have been really embracing it and loving it and using it, and like even campaigning on their Twitter and whatnot to win competitions. So it's cool to see that, you know, people you understand the value of something like Prop House, which was maybe built for different purposes, but is being used by esports to great effect. So shout out Sam if you're listening or listening back. It's awesome to see. Jessica's going once, going twice. Coming back to you before we shift gears from esports. Are you there? All right. Well, maybe we'll be able to hear from her a little bit later. I did see Mr. Carlos, who this time last year was just plain old Carlos, and now he is an Orca, a double Orca, if I'm not mistaken. Carlos, are you there? Love to hear about your Nanos journey over the past year. Why do people come on stage? If
GM, sorry, I was in Nouncil and here at the same time. I accidentally invited 5 projects that I've been procubating for the earlier time. So
awesome. We definitely are going to try to wrap up here soon, so we can all go over to Nouncil and discuss some props. Appreciate Nouncil accommodating us
this time, right?
Is Big Spray talking to me here or there?
Well, she's talking to all of us.
I'm just here. I'm in Nouncil, right?
Yeah.
We've merged.
The merging. Is this what they meant by the merge?
Discord. I don't know what's happening. Hold on. There we go.
Carlos, ask her if she's
we're good.
Gonna buy that pump.
Carlos is bridging the gap. Yeah, that's a good point. Ask the Big Spite if she's going to buy the pump that we minted for her on purpose today.
I'll tell her when I get there.
All right. So yeah, tell us about your journey in Nouns, because it's it's been a pleasure to watch your nanification. I've known you for a while and have loved everything you've been working on even prior to Nouns. For those who don't know, Carlos, he has an organization that does beach cleanups and pays people in USDC and onboards them, basically like Bitcoin Beach, except actually paying them in useful currency and teaching them how to use USDC in their everyday life. That's how I first found Carlos, and we became friends. And it's been awesome to see you fall down the Nouns rabbit hole hard and fast. So tell us about past year in Nouns.
Yeah, it's been great. I want to start by just thanking you and everyone from the TNS crew. I've followed along for a long time, and I was always a fan of Nouns, but I felt like I should do something within Nouns, but I wanted to like prove my worth first, like create some value in the ecosystem, and I didn't really know how.
Didn't we also almost cause your divorce on the first time you ever came on TNS? I seem to remember something to that effect, but we won't have to say.
Yeah. Not marriage is bad. Yeah. No, so I really appreciate it because it allowed me to like keep tabs on everything that was happening in Nouns while I was working full time. I always called FOMO NOMO productivity down to 0 time, because no matter what I was doing at whatever job I was at Gitcoin last year, I would just stop. I'd like schedule calls around TNS. So I really appreciate it. It got me super interested, and then once I started, jumping on the stage on TNS more and more, I just knew like I had to start saving my ETH specifically for this. And I have to say, after the fork is when I became really, really bullish. When I thought, okay, this is probably gonna like push out, or a lot of people are gonna exit that didn't have like long-term vision, or they were here just for like a tiny gain or something like that, not really thinking about the long-term effects that something like Nouns can have. And then I decided, okay, I want to jump in and be a live player in this ecosystem and see how much value I can create through Nouns, and using it as like my kind of like my QF, right? Because I got really involved, and it caused me to like look around for everyone I felt is like a meaningful builder in the ecosystem, and how to get them involved with Nouns. Yeah, and I'm really excited about that. It's been a great journey, and I'm stoked to be here. I'm stoked to like continue building within the ecosystem.
I love the perspective of you seeing the fork, which, by the way, it's quite amazing that we've been sitting here talking about the past year in Nouns for over an hour, and no one has mentioned the fork, even though that was a big part of this year. Season 3 started off with a fork, and there was 2 other forks in quick succession after that. But I think it's telling that most of us don't have post-traumatic stress from that, and we have a lot of memories from this past year, despite.
That was going to be my favorite moment, honestly. Index executing that and then taking over the name.
Okay, I'll make a confession as well. So leading up to like when I knew I was gonna buy a Noun, I didn't want to like say it, but I was spending a lot of time doing last second bids just to keep you guys talking.
Appreciate that. Yeah. No, but I like how you looked at the fork and you were like, this is bullish, because now it's really going to whittle down to people who really care about the long-term vision of Nouns. And that's always been my view too. And I think it really has proven out to be the case so far. Anyway, obviously it's a very long time horizon, but yeah, I think that's cool.
And very selfishly, it enabled there to be Nouns in the treasury for the DAO to give away to builders. That's awesome.
For sure.
That wouldn't have been possible prior to that. Like, to do anything like that would have had to be like a crew that put in a proposal to get ETH and then bid at auction, and that was a pretty clunky way to distribute Nouns outside of the auction mechanism.
Yeah,
So
speaking of which, we had Sloppy up here on the stage here earlier. I think he had to drop off, but he was one of the first people to be given a Noun via one of Prop House's Nouner Scout rounds, where people basically voted to give a Noun to someone currently outside the Nouns ecosystem who would make a great Nounish addition. And it was kind of like, a little bit of divine providence, I think, because it ended up being like a pretty funky pickle that was up for grabs. And Sloppy put in an application and said, hey, I'm the guy that made Pickle Rick. He was a lead animator on Rick and Morty at the time, and so it was kind of felt like it was just right. And of course, he won that round and was gifted a pickle, and has been a really great ambassador for Nouns from everything that I've seen. He does a lot of live streaming with artists, and he's always repping his Noun and always repping Nouns, and now participating in Nouns Fest as well. So really cool to see someone who literally entered Nouns that way and has become a contributing member.
Yeah, I just want to shout him out too, because he does a lot of really cool stuff for artists as well. Like, he was helping with the draws and the animators rounds at the beginning, and he does live streams a few times a week and is very open with giving feedback to artists. Like, I DM him on a regular basis to get help with my animations and illustrations and stuff, and I know he helps a lot of other people too, and he's not shy about it.
Yeah, I think he's been a huge asset to Nouns. Love to see it. And then there was that Ben Body guy. I guess he's okay.
I see him with his mic on mic.
Yeah, we got him back.
Thank you, Britt.
Hey y'all, I love you so much. I'm gonna jump over to Nounsel. When you guys are done being all mushy over here, let's go argue over there. All right. All right.
Right.
Yeah, we need more drama. I feel like these taverns, I realized last night, there needs to be more drama so people come and witness the debates. You guys are too nice to everybody, so fuck you guys.
Yeah, you know what? Let's start with
I want some
Tavern.
more forks. Let's keep forking. I want Nouns to be at 0.1.
Brendan, how about every tavern has the ability to fork, Brennan? So if you don't like what's going on, you can just press the fork button and make your own fork of the tavern.
That's pretty good. Fork Tavern. That's pretty
That'd be
nice.
funny.
And you basically you can just at the top it just says fork you, and when you click it, it starts your own fork of the tavern. I like it. All right, let's do it. But yeah, Sloppy, thanks for joining us back up here. We were just singing your praises. I hope your head didn't get too big, that it won't fit out of the pickle jar. But tell us about your year in nouns, please.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, the head's quite big already. It's hard to walk through doorways. No, it's been an amazing year, honestly. Just meeting incredible people, like-minded people, just being able to share and learn at the same time. You know, I always like to share everything I know, and I know everybody here is kind of the same. So super excited to be here. We just recently finished our Noun Fest film, and we booked our tickets to go to Noun Fest in October. So we're super excited to be able to go there. And we got even more excited. Woo! We got even more excited to know there was an even like just an extension of the event thanks to Ben. So thank you for that. It's just incredible to see how everybody's just like working all the time, working together. So it feels good, man. Uh, it's like 9 a.m. So I would say cheers for another year. Well, it's never too late, never too early to get a beer or something. But cheers to Nouns for another year. And I hope I can just continue to be a part of it, continue to grow with the community, and spread the good word.
Awesome. Well, we did warn people earlier that if you come up on stage, you do risk getting robbed at gunpoint. So can we hassle you for a couple sloppy NFTs of some kind to give away to our listeners?
Of course. Yeah. Let's do 3 fish bowlers. Let's do 3 fish bowlers and 3 the swarm. Fish bowler is like my main ETH collection, which if you get 5, you get like very custom art and like custom character creation. And the swarm is our base collection, which is going to be featured in the fish bowler universe as well. So let's do 3 of each.
Amazing. So that's up to 9 different prizes that we've got. We're going to do a draw here soon as we wind down. Plus, we're going to be giving away 1 collective noun. That's a membership to the Yellow Collective from our prize vault. And that one is going to someone who minted a Nomo noun over the past 60 days, up to and including the current day's Nomo, which you can still mint at nomo.wtf up until the draw. So, Benjamin, I saw you unmute for a second. Did you want to rob yourself? Benjamin, are you there? I can't hear Benjamin. Can you guys hear?
No, you did.
You
By
got.
the way, there is a bug if you get invited by like to speak or to become a speaker. You probably can't accept, so you might have to raise your hand and be accepted.
Yeah, I did mean to mention that. Everybody who's up here on stage did have to request to come up. The invites I sent out seem to be in limbo. So I had sent out a couple invites to folks down there in the crowd, like CRP Daddy and Cicerella and a couple others who were down there. So
Wake up back online. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're back.
Okay, I'm chiming in to the giveaway or to the raffle with a People Places Things t-shirt by Seeks from this week's collection.
Oh, that's amazing. Can I win? Because I feel like it's not fair that I never get to win. I'm just kidding. So yeah, 1 t-shirt from butter.wtf. Love to see it. So that's 10 prizes plus the collective noun. The first 10 prizes will just be drawn for anyone who's here in the crowd when we do the draw. That's in about 10 minutes. Anyone who's here either up on stage or down in the audience will qualify to win. And in terms of the Yellow Collective noun, you have to have minted a Nomo either in the past 2 months or today at nomo.wtf. It's $1.69 USDC worth of ETH at 0.00069 ETH on the Optimism Network to mint one of those puppies. And remember that you were here with us for the 3rd anniversary of Nouns. All right, where were we before? Oh, Sloppy. We were talking to Sloppy. Thank you, Sloppy. Appreciate you very much. You brought amazing energy to Nouns. And I wanted to ask you one question, Sloppy, if you're still here. What's it been like when you're doing the streaming with some people who maybe aren't as crypto native? What's their sort of reaction been when you talk about Nouns or when you talk a little bit about what we're doing?
Well, I think always use Nouns as a good example of like great projects in the space, because like NFTs in the art world have like the most terrible like reputation. And it's because like most of the projects out there have like really like hurt artists, or like people see it as a scam or whatever. But I honestly always show like the This Is Nouns video just as a great example of what like crypto can be like. Like support artists, create communities, like um, create amazing projects with like-minded people. I always use Nouns as a great example. So they've all been super receptive to Nouns whenever I show it on stream. When I talk about crypto and ETH and whatever, like people are very wary. They're like, yeah, I don't like that kind of stuff. But with Nouns, like I've been able to even like onboard a ton of artists who were not like Web3 or like crypto like friendly. So they have changed their mind thanks to Nouns. The only thing is that they do not know anything about like Web3 security. So a bunch of them have been scammed or rugged, sadly, because like they get like DMs on Warpcast. They're like, hey, we got a job offer for you. Download this software, and they download it and they get absolutely drained. So what I've been working on with my community is just like how to keep your funds safe, what to watch out for, never click on stuff, and also like on stream on Twitch it has been great with Nouns, but they need a little bit more security knowledge. That's it.
Yeah, that's a good reminder for all of us when we're onboarding people to not forget that they need that information, how to stay safe, how to be their own bank. It's not always easy, and it's kind of it doesn't make sense to onboard people and not teach them that, because I'm sure some of those people that got drained weren't so keen on crypto after that.
No, I mean, like one of the first places all the time in Nouns rounds, in the animator rounds, is Fake to Fake. He has been a consistent, like amazing animator for the rounds, and he's earned like quite a share of ETH, and he got totally drained. But he was like, okay, it was my fault. Like I'm getting back on my feet by like just continuing on doing more rounds, right? So he didn't get discouraged. Quite the opposite, actually. He like got even more encouraged to like learn about security and like share it in the Discord, like his experience, so like people didn't have to go through with that. So yeah, I guess it was quite an expensive lesson, but I guess we've all been there, right? Like when I got started, I wanted to mint the Invisible Friends, and I kind of minted on a fake page, so I lost my ETH for that mint. So it has happened to everyone, right? So um, it's good that we can share after all those sad things happen, just so people can can like be a bit more wary. But yeah, like it's all about just like educating people whenever we onboard them. It's important for them. Like one of the biggest and hardest things was, for somebody that didn't know anything about crypto, it's just like learn what a wallet is, learn how to unramp money on that wallet, and then learn what networks are and what different chains are, and then what Base is, and then what Warpcaster is, and then how to claim, and then how to swap, and then like there's quite a big learning curve, but people are willing to learn. Like I think our goals should be to make this kind of onboardings easier for people that know absolutely nothing about crypto. They know absolutely nothing about Nouns. So as we tell them like all the amazing parts that Nouns has to offer, we really need to simplify the process a little bit. And I think Nouns is always like trying to improve in that front as well. So that is great.
Yeah, I think that's really great, and I think sometimes people can be a little bit click happy. Those of us who grew up in the '90s went through sort of the era of like downloading things on LimeWire and stuff, and so we know a thing or two about being careful about what we click, because the song that we click might end up being like porn or a virus that'll kill our whole computers. So I think we need to sort of re-bring that into the psyche of people who are coming on chain for the first time, and just be like, check that URL twice, 3 times. Why not? It doesn't hurt to be extra safe. Check it against CoinGecko, check it against the official Twitter, make sure you are where you think you are. And then also just read your signatures. If you're signing signatures on your own wallet, you have to know what you're signing. And 9 times out of 10, if you read your signature, I know sometimes they're not very human readable, but 9 times out of 10, if you're careful and you read what you're signing, you're not going to accidentally sign something that's going to drain your funds. So quick PSA, always worth repeating. We don't want people to get drained. Sloppy, thanks for joining us. Thank you for joining Nouns too, and for being such an awesome contributor and giving of your time in the animators round and all the things that you do.
Oh, thank you guys, and I really hope we can just continue this beautiful community and growth for another year. So let's see what we have in store. Cheers, everyone. I gotta run, have some breakfast, but I'll try to be back soon. Much love, everyone.
I wanted to go over to Joshua Fisher for a moment. We haven't spoken yet about Nouns Fest, and I'm pretty excited about that. It's kind of going to be part of Noun Town, which Benjamin talked about earlier, but Nouns Fest is kind of its own thing as well as a self-contained festival for Nounish animation, and Joshua's been on the team for that and sort of has the inside track on everything that's going on there. So Mr. Shark, if you're there, can you tell us a word or two about the upcoming Nouns Fest? Or not? All right, well, he had joined for this reason, but maybe he can't hear. Josh, if you are trying to talk, you're muted. If you can hear this, maybe go and come back, and hopefully you can tell us a bit about that. While we're waiting for Joshua to come back, let's do some draws. How about that? Ben, you want to help me do some draws for these prizes?
Yeah, how are we going to do it?
So we've got 10 prizes to do off the hop for everybody who's here in the room. So I'm just going to get you to open up a random number generator and fire out some numbers at me, and I will go through and find the winners in our crowd. So let's give away some prizes. Appreciate all of you joining us here to celebrate Nouns for 3 years. We've got 6 NFTs from Sloppy, 3 from each of his collections, Fishballers, and what's the other collection called, Brett? It's slipping my mind for
the Swarm.
The Swarm, yeah, that's right. So it's 3 of each, and then 3 Nogs, which are the Noun Space OG NFTs that give you early access to Noun Space to make your own MySpace inspired profile. And then we've got 1 People and Places tea from Benjamin Latsko's Butter Store. So those 10 prizes about to be given out. Hit me with a number, Ben Body.
4.
4 is Mart. Mart.Noggles. Congratulations, Mart.
Then we've got 27.
27. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 8, so 24. 27 is Panji. Panji, a recent joiner of the Yellow Collective with a beautiful red flag head by Greta. So love to see it. Panji, you just won yourself a prize. Hit me with another one.
Are you writing these winners down?
I am, yes.
Okay, good. I was going to make sure one of us is.
Yeah.
All right. Next number is 1.
1 is, well, you have to have a PFP, otherwise we don't know who you are. So I can't give it to number 1. Number 1 is an anon, someone who's joined without any accounts. I don't know who you are, Mountain something, so we can't give you a prize. Give me another one.
All right, 35.
35 is Bag. I think that's NG, right? Or is that
It
Index?
might be. I wasn't sure who it is.
That's Index.
That's Index,
Yeah,
right?
I was about to say I can check in now. So yeah, it's definitely Index.
Index, who's constantly changing his name. The only person that changes his name more than Pipe. Index.
Index and
Pipe. All right, hit me with another one. That's 3 prizes out of 10 so far. Number 4 is
number 9.
That is Renee, another new member of the Yellow Collective over the past week. So I must be lucky to join the Yellow Collective. Renee Campbell, congratulations. Hit me again. If any of the winners want to come up and say hi, just request. I can't invite anyone that's not working properly. Devs do something. But if you do win and you want to come up, just request and we'll bring you up. All right, next.
Number 12.
12 is Sheffo, chefing it up down there. Congratulations, Sheffo.
Nice. All right, then we've got number 6.
Number 6 is Lazy Gore. Lazy Gore rocking a NARS down there and winning himself a sloppy NFT. All right, that's it for the sloppy NFTs. Let's do the 3 Nouns OGs NFTs from Willie. Hit me.
All right, we got number 21.
That is Pell. Pell, who's also from the yellow community, I believe. I love Pell's PFP, by the way. He's got a GIF PFP of a skateboarder doing the trick. It's pretty cool. Do a kickflip. So Pell, congratulations. You got yourself a Nogs NFT. We'll get that over to you post haste. Hit me one more time.
Number 5.
5 is is that Pipe? It is Pipe. Speaking of people who change their names all the time, we've got Pipe, and I only knew it was Pipe because of his PFP, because his name is just a crystal ball right now. But congratulations, Pipe. You got yourself a free Nogs. And one last one for the Nogs.
Number 2.
Number 2 is Wide-Eyed Carl. Wide-Eyed Carl. Congratulations, Carl. Awesome builder as well. Who's been doing some really cool stuff, including the statue in China that was installed this past year. And I think he's hard at work right now on doing a Nounish playground too, which I'm pretty excited about. So congratulations to Carl. Oh, Carl's actually up on the stage here with us. So what's up, Carl? All right. Well, I guess a lot of people join the stage without the intention of chatting with us, which is okay. But let's do one last prize here for that T-shirt from butter.wtf. This is the one I'm really jealous of. I really want this T-shirt. So who is going to win the T-shirt? And we will get in touch with you. You have to be willing to dox yourself for a T-shirt. But you can just dox yourself to me, Toady, and I promise I won't tell anybody. And we'll send you a T-shirt. Who's it going to be?
Number 18.
18 is, who is that? It's, oh, I think is that Brennan? Is that your co-founder down there? He's got like the tavern in his.
Yeah, the A pose Tavern Bear Noggles.
Should we let him win, or should we give it to someone
No,
else?
fuck that guy.
Okay, let's draw it again. You can take it up with Brennan. All right, draw again for the T-shirt. No hosts allowed.
24.
24 is CRP Daddy. What? Congratulations. Nice. The really funny thing is that someone joined just as I called that out, and it actually shifted down, and CRP Daddy wouldn't have been 24. So just by the hair of your chinny chin chin, CRP Daddy, you are the winner. So congratulations to all 10 winners. Thank you to everyone who came. Now it's time to give away a yellow collective noun. So I've got to do a draw here from all the nomos over the past 60 days. So give me a number and I'll get counting.
All right, how many should this one be out of?
This one should be out of, let me count. Talk amongst yourselves.
Because I did 50 on, I used the amount of people that were actively listening at the time. But with the nomos, there'll be more.
So let's do, actually it is just about around 50. So yeah, just draw from 50 and we'll do it that way.
All right, here we go. What are we going to get? 46.
Oh, you had to give me a high number.
All the way at the top.
46. Okay, so you guys, someone talk while I count, and yeah, I'll count and find the winner.
Well, sorry to all those.
We will get
people.
rugged in 15. So
I think that'll be decent timing. I think we're okay.
I'll just quickly share my favorite thing from the year, and that was watching all my peers become Nouners.
Yeah, it's definitely been a good time. And just quick shout out to Brennan for creating this space. It's pretty cool that we can use this Farcaster native spot where people can even join a non with no accounts at all. I love that.
Well, OpenSea is really difficult to deal with.
Let it take its time. Keep counting.
But I do want to echo though the Tavern is awesome, and we've been, I don't want to pat ourselves on the back, but we've been on Tavern since what, like Brandon, like January. We've been here every single day chilling, and it's
every
really
fucking day. We love it.
Yeah, but we've started to see Tavern get some real traction recently with some folks hosting taverns over here. Seneca's been hosting one. There's the late night crew that I was on with yesterday. They had like over 100 people yapping away on a Wednesday night here on Tavern. Love to see it. DWR was up on stage talking. So really cool to see people starting to take notice of what you've built, Brennan, and I think it's really well deserved. And yeah, we're glad to have been early because I think it's going to be the real deal.
Well, if Roots ever becomes a thing, you'll have definitely the most Roots.
Exactly.
Must be that 69 multiplier. Oh man, I don't know how you
Yeah, let's go. What does that mean for anyone who's tuned in here on Tavern? What is Roots anyway, and what does the multiplier even mean?
Maybe we'll talk about it. We have a show in 30 minutes to do an update. We're gonna get back to a weekly update. We gotta stop ignoring everybody. But maybe we'll talk about it then.
All right.
Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I have no idea.
I love it. All right. Well, I've got the winning Nomo here. Took a while to count on OpenSea. The winning Nomo is Nomo edition number 1157, number 2. This was actually quite a nice looking Nomo. It was a rainbow with frog noggles and a nice Japanese sweater. And it was minted by The Park, thepark.eth.
Oh, nice.
Congratulations to The Park. I'm going to give Derek his choice of a yellow collective noun from our treasure. I don't think is The Park in yellow yet. They've been around, but I don't think they've done.
Don't think so. No, I think this will be a new one. Yeah.
There you go.
We're expanding into music.
Expanding into music, and I don't know. We'll have to check, but we'll try to find something that looks good. And we have the founders allocation too. And in the past, we have been known to do a little swap if we need to. We did that in order to get a pretzel in the hands of Food Masku, the artist who won the last draw that we did about 60 days ago, which was on our 1-year anniversary of. Our 2-year anniversary of 9 o'clock itself on June 13th. So Food Masku won that one, and now we'll add to the list of winners, Park.eth. Yeah, I wanted to mention that too, and just give them some flowers because they were a presence at base camp and at FWB. They had an activation there where they were serving up Noun deli recipes from the barbecue to people who were there. They were serving Noun coffee, which Derek from the Park is one of the partners in Noun Coffee, along with Drew Kaufman. And actually, they just went live this week in LA with their first pop up in West Hollywood. So. Awesome to see that, and we got to see some sneak previews of the coffee that they were serving, and then they made live music because that's what the Park does. If you're not familiar with the Park, it is an amazing Nounish DAO which is set up all around jamming and creating music, and they have this thing called Fridays at the Park where they get together and they literally jam and write a song every week, and then they mint it on chain, and we got to be a part of that at Fest where they wrote this song. It was really cool. We even got to be brought in and do some gang vocals. So I got to call my mom and tell her that I'm going to be famous. Like I'm going to be on a record, just like I said I would be. But yeah, we got to just yell and say right here, right now, a bunch of times as a group, and that went into the track. And then they actually performed live in the amphitheater, and people were just going wild. If you don't know the Park's music, you got to check it out. They are on chain, of course, on Zora, and they are also on Spotify. so you can listen to them the Web 2 way if you like. But shout out to the park. They're doing amazing things, onboarding people to Nouns in a very authentic way. And it was really cool to see that in person. And I'm happy to be able to welcome Derek into Yellow. I think Derek might have bought one, actually. I think he might already be in Yellow, so I feel bad now. It's hard to keep track. We've had so many awesome people joining Yellow. But either way, nice to see the park joining. Maybe they can delegate it over to someone else in the park if that's the case. And with that, I think we should start to wind down. We already overlapped with Nouncil a little bit more than we meant to. Appreciate the good folks at Nouncil pushing off their meeting from the usual 10 a.m. space. If you're not familiar with Nouncil, Nouncil is a council of nounish builders who are delegated a chunk of nouns, I think like 30 nouns currently, and they're able to discuss and chat about ongoing nouns proposals and vote on them, and their weight sort of gets pushed on chain and helps make decisions. So if you're down with that, if you're interested in governance, check that out. Can we get, Brett, a link to the Discord pinned above, if you don't mind, as we wind down? And speaking of pinning links, the only other thing I wanted to mention as we close is I did post a cast from Seneca, who was with us earlier in the show, and he posted asking people to share one memorable nouns moment over the past 3 years. If you can narrow it down, he's got a thread going there and collecting people's experiences. So make sure you get in there, share your experience with nouns, whether you're new to nouns or you've been with nouns since the early days. Share some of your favorite moments in that thread so we can all read them and get nostalgic together. A little bit of shilling for Yellow as we close out. The best kind of shilling, the shilling that pays you money if you're an artist. We have 2 ongoing rounds over in the Yellow channel on Warpcast currently. One of them, actually both of them, end tomorrow. So one of them is an art contest in collaboration with matcha.xyz and Nouns Esports. The theme of the round is very easy. It's called Give Us the Tea, and you just need to draw something in any style or medium that sort of evokes the vibes of the Yellow Collective, of Nouns Esports, and matcha. Let your imagination run wild, do an illustration or something and post it on the Yellow channel, and you will share in a pool of 2,000 USDC when the round ends tomorrow. We also have a collaboration going with the Build community. If you're not familiar with Build, it is a community coin or a meme coin that was launched on Farcaster with the purpose of supporting builders of all kinds on chain. Pretty cool. You get to nominate people on a weekly basis right now who are builders, and they get paid in tokens, and you get a little bonus every time you nominate someone. Well, this week we are the featured channel for Build, and the theme is creators are builders too. So the idea is to go in the Yellow channel and nominate your favorite artist, include a piece of their art if you'd like to share it. It's been pretty cool to read through the channel and see who people have been recommending. And they'll basically get to double dip because you just put nominate artist, and then they'll be nominated for Build tokens, and they'll also share in a round of extra Build tokens that have been put into rounds.wtf. So great opportunity for you to pay it forward rather, and help out some artists in your space that you really appreciate. As far as us, if you enjoy this show, we do this show every single day. We follow the Nouns DAO auction, so it is a bit odd. It means we move the show every day. A little crazy for doing 781 shows in a row that never start or end at the same day every day. And it's hard for people to follow a little bit, but it's all part of our initial goal of making Noun O'Clock, the end of the Nouns DAO auction, a moment of celebration for the internet. So if you want to keep track of when this show is, the best way to do that is either to follow us on Twitter at the Noun Square, or follow the channel /the Noun Square over on Warpcast. We post a link to the Tavern every single day, and you can just RSVP with one click, and the Brennan bot will actually send you a reminder even of when the show goes live. Currently, it's going live around 9:45 a.m. I think we drifted a little bit today, so it'll probably be just before 10 a.m. tomorrow, and it continues to drift by about 10 to 15 minutes every day into oblivion. So join us if you like hearing about nouns. We also often cover news from around the base ecosystem and the Farcaster ecosystem and all the stuff that kind of overlaps with the nouns world. You can also find all of our mints and collaborations that we do with Yellow on Zora, zora.co/basedandyellow.eth. And that's it for the shilling. I think that's it for everything. Anyone else? Yeah. Yes. Yep. Right. So you're saying
Nice.
just post a picture wearing purple noggles and you will pay people real money? Am I hearing that right? Amazing. On that note, too, make sure you're constantly checking rounds.wtf. Well, not constantly, like you don't need to get addicted to it or anything, but at least every couple days, check in on rounds.wtf, see which rounds are running. You can also check if you're earning any rewards, which there's so many rounds ongoing at any one time. You might even be earning rewards where you didn't even know you were. But if you're an artist, there's lots of opportunities to make some actual ETH or other tokens for your art. You can just earn a Nouns token for yapping in the Nouns channel. So if you're a yapper, come to Nouns and say some cool stuff or post some neat art, and you might earn some Nouns tokens that way. Ben Body, anything else that we need to show before we round this out?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you wanted to take more of a deep dive, listen in the car, things like that, about some of the builders in the space and some of the things going on, then check out zeropod.xyz or Zeropod on Spotify, on Zora, on YouTube. Actually, it's on the Noun Square account on YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the podcast that Toadie's hosting that has a bunch of amazing guests. I would definitely recommend having a listen.
Yeah, thanks for the show. And also kudos to you for creating zeropod.xyz, which does a really great job of showcasing all the different episodes. And you can watch them right there on the site through the embedded YouTube, or you can mint them directly with a click over on Zora, because of course they are all on chain as well and mintable for free. So yeah, zeropod.xyz for your travel listening needs. And with that, thank you everybody for joining us. Come on over to the Nounsel call if you haven't had your Nounish fill and you'd like to hear what happens in the nitty gritty of Nouns governance. I'm heading over there myself to apologize profusely for going so long here with the 3-year celebration, but we just couldn't help it. We had so many things to celebrate, and it's been great hanging with all of you. Thank you for everyone who came and chatted, and going to play you out with the beautiful AI song that I wrote for Brett this morning as we leave.
And one final thank you to you, Toadie Hawk, for all of the work you put in for all these things that you do.
I hear you. I couldn't hear that. Hey, now let's go. Positivity, we can't be beat. 3 more years at least. Experiments and dreams we chase. Every noun finds its own place. Community that never fears. Together celebrating years. Nouns in chains but never tight. Innovation world so wide. Free is strong and feeling proud. Together celebrating years. Nouns in chains but never tied. Innovation world so wide. Free is strong and feeling proud. In the storm we sing out loud. When pixels born a world so bad. Absurdity we understand. Shape vision breaks the mundane.